So welcome back to the second case for this week of Federal from Friday. In this case, we're actually going to, back to Georgia, because the last Georgia case that I've done that I can remember was the modern Bonnie and Clyde case and a murder that happened over some cupcakes. Sadly, this is another food-related death, and it is also the death of a child. So, obviously going to be very upsetting. There's only two sources for this one. The first one, I literally got all my information practically from them, and I think the second source, I got maybe one additional thing from them. So, yeah, sources down below. Credit to most of the first one, because she pretty much did all the research for me. But I just thought the case should be covered again. I guess, to bring more light into it, even though, the killers have already been sentenced, despite this happening 3 years ago. And so yeah, let me start rambling. So let's just go and get started.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, maybe you'll get sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed. Think you're something out of my nightmares. See me right there. But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, then will you get bored of killing?
So we ain't got any date of birth information about our killer or our victim, but what I do have is sadly the day that our victim passed away. So we're trying to get into that. So we are on June 6, 2020, so a little over 3 years ago. Derek Lamar Camp Jr. would just be gurgling. That's what we have. And then his mom, Jasmine Camp, she obviously calls 911. And then 911 lady even had, Jasmine do CPR. Did she actually do CPR with him? We don't even know. But Jasmine, gets the neighbor and be like, hey, can you take my son to the hospital? And I guess they were like, yeah. And then the dispatcher already got EMS on the way. But I guess they were like, EMS is taking too long. So they was like, we're going to drive themselves because we probably will get there faster. And so EMS is like, hey, meet us up here at this point. So then they go into a parking lot, which is really weird. Go into a parking lot and then they grab Derek, the EMS people, they grab Derek, rush him to the hospital, but sadly, despite their best efforts, of course, he died, soon after he gets to the hospital. So then, of course, she tells police the same story that she told the dispatcher. The story that she told the dispatcher was that he fell off the bed and would just start having a seizure. The man that was her fiance at the time, she would say, he's not my fiance anymore, and that we're just friends. And so she would even say that he didn't have an address or even a phone. And so the police were wondering, if you were trying to get in contact with him, how would you, know how to do it if he ain't got a phone or address? And so she would say that, oh, well, the neighbor that dropped him off, I could just ask him, where he went and just hope he's still there. And so Jasmine is arrested on first-degree cruelty to children. And then, of course, the next day is upgraded to murder. So after she is charged with murder at this point, Jasmine pretty much is telling police that, hey, I punished him because I found nudes on his phone and she made him do squats for 30 minutes. If he did mess up said squats, he would have to start all over. So on the day of the incident, she noticed a bump and blood on his head. Of course, fell off the bed, was speaking slow and rattling. She goes to get his inhaler because for some reason she thought this would work. It, of course, didn't. She called 911 and she's claiming that she did CPR. So, of course, Clarence Brown, which is Jasmine's boyfriend, is also arrested. He had hit Derek multiple times with tree branches, and extension cords, and some other stuff. At least once it said that he had dumped Derek Jr. in the stomach so hard that he actually pissed him. He actually pissed himself. He would make him do military squats while holding a book. Another punishment he had was doing push-ups until he collapsed. It is said that at least twice Derek Jr. was slammed into a door, and even slammed him into a corner of a door frame by his hair. And so he even made the other children in the home sadly listen to Derek Jr. being abused. So then, of course, police, are investigating and find out that 5 children live in the house. So 2 were Jasmine's, 2 were Clarence's biologically, and then the third one was a child that wasn't even, neither one of theirs. It was actually a girl that Clarence used to fool around. Department of Family and Children's Services, they basically examine the rest of the children and find that there is signs of physical abuse present in all of them. And so the autopsy on Derek Jr. showed over 150 injuries, some in the healing process, obviously proving that prior abuse had taken place. Jasmine was luckily denied bond, and she basically, of course, said Clarence was responsible. Clarence was seen as a flight risk, a threat to witnesses, and also obviously denied bond as well. So Jasmine, of course, pleaded guilty to murder and 4 counts of cruelty to children, because And then, so of course, she gets life in prison. Clarence, of course, pleads not guilty and obviously wants to go to that trial. So then, of course, at his trial, Jasmine would say that she whipped Derek Jr. over a cup of Jello that Clarence had actually claimed that he stole. So pretty much, Clarence is the reason why our son's dead. He somehow gets 3 charges of murder, even though only 1 person died. But like, okay, as long as he gets charged with murder, that's what we're aiming for. And 4 counts of cruelty to children. And so, of course, he gets life without parole. So, of course, that's all we know of. I mean, I'm kind of surprised they got charged quickly, considering the murder happened post-COVID. Because there's some murders that happened, like, way back in the early 2000s. The people still ain't been tried. But, you know, I'm not complaining. I'm glad they got their sentence. But, like, it shocks me sometimes, you know? So, anyway, yeah, that was the case of a child who was said to have died from nudes or Jello. Let me know what you think down below. Maybe it's something else. Maybe just let me know what you think, because this case is kind of heartbreaking. And so yeah, with that being said, I'll see you for something else in the next one.